Probably help if I put me and John on the screen, everybody. What is going on today? It's Jason and John. We're here to talk. Sorry, I was on Facebook trying to get the links shared out, and they haven't populated yet. So it threw me off because usually it's right on it. But I guess, that's kind of what this episode is about being thrown off your game. And, John, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. I am doing great. This was... can't say yet because, it'd be a spoiler.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil it. We don't want to spoil it for the folks.
We don't want to spoil it. So we had a comment on our last episode, The Mother. So it says, among the guest stars you failed to mention, Arnett Corsat, the co-worker. She's been on numerous episodes.
Okay, well, hold on here. Who sent that in, by the way?
The name is Tara Blessings 5723.
Okay, well, good on you for calling us out here on overlooking someone.
Which it's going to be something we'll do on occasion because John and I, we're not going to be able to catch every name that stands out.
Oh, well, she was known as playing Helen Crump on the Andy Griffith Show. So there you go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, okay. As well as, she's done a lot of other things too. Like she was in The Blob, which was a movie of 1958 horror genre. She was in Blazing Saddles. As an uncredited role, she was a tourist. Let's see. Bonanza. She was a character on that for an episode. Seems that she's been on multiple episodes of Gunsmoke. Emergency, which was a big hit back in the day. And actually, so she actually was on an episode called The Network of Matlock, which I'm wondering when that was. Let me look that up real quick and see.
Folks, this is all John's fault. I take no responsibility for missing this guest star. I cannot believe John did this, and I just apologize from the bottom of my heart.
Stop it. Just enough. Oh, okay. The Network. It was the one. It was episode 8 of season 2, and we remember this one because it was a good one. It was. Jason Bateman was in it. Rhea Perlman was in it. Betty White, Malcolm Jamal Warner. It was the clip show, kind of, that it wasn't really a clip show, but it was kind of like they had this show going on, but they inserted like Betty White, Malcolm Jamal Warner, and those folks doing like PSAs, including Alf. So it was kind of an odd one, if I remember correctly.
I do remember that episode. Yeah, I can't remember like our total thoughts on it, but yeah, no, I remember that episode.
Yeah, well, you know what? I would say if you want to catch our comments about it, go back in the archives of Matt Talk through Spotify or any of those great podcasting outlets and check it out and tell us what you think. And Jason, where can folks reach us if they want to drop us a line, by the way?
You guys can email us anytime at benmattalk@gmail.com.
Or you can find us on Facebook at Matt Talk Podcast, and you can leave a message there as well. So... well, Jason, as we normally do, let's talk a little bit about what we're watching. So,
I would freaking love to because there is a show on television called Elsbeth. And if you are a fan of the classic, this kind of TV, then you need to watch Elsbeth. It's a spiritual successor to Columbo in every sense of the word. You watch the show, it will very much remind you of Columbo, her investigation style, the way she is with the people that she's kind of onto that committed the crimes. And it is very good. It's a spinoff of The Good Wife, but don't let that scare you that you have to watch 20 seasons of television. No, you don't need to have seen anything prior to this series. And it is this kind of television that we all love. So I highly, highly recommend it.
Okay, a couple of questions. It's still in the Good Wife universe, but is there any like crossover with some of the other characters from the Good Wife?
Not yet.
Okay, so it's all self-contained.
Mm-hmm.
What is it on? Is it on CBS?
CBS. Oh, I'm watching on Paramount Plus.
Okay, so yeah, it's CBS then. Okay, cool, cool.
Very good show.
Good deal. Being the wrestling nerd that I am really enjoying season 5 of Dark Side of the Ring. It's on Vice Network. It started a few weeks ago. I think I'm on episode number 6, which 7's coming up this week, actually. So, it's just a behind the scenes look at, they pick a professional wrestler or a professional wrestling event and they talk about it with folks that experienced it or have some impact because they were part of that event. It's really good. It's a well done docuseries. It's so well done that even casual fans that I know, friends of mine that aren't wrestling fans, but I've said you should check this out. They really say, hey, that was really interesting, and I didn't know that about that wrestler or about that event, and I really dig it. Those guys, Evan and Jason, who do that show, they do a fantastic job, and you should check it out. If you love wrestling, you definitely got to check it out, and I think that you will agree with me that it's superb. Excuse me, wrong adjective there. Superb, not subpar. It's anything but subpar.
Well, speaking of wrestling, I sat down, I watched a little bit of WrestleMania, and I tried. I was in it for a while, but the matches, they just go on and 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 on.
Jason,
I don't know if that's because they have 2 days now, but it was like watching the Titanic every time somebody got into a wrestling rink.
Well, Jason, we're at that era now, and it's one of the complaints that I have is that every match has to go 20 minutes, and that's not how it used to be. That's not at all how you look at.
That's not how I remember it either. And the female match, it seemed like they took a lot of breaks. Like they would just stop wrestling for like a few minutes, or not a few minutes, but 30, 40 seconds, and then continue on their way. And it took me out of it. I like I said, I tried. I was in it for a while. My girlfriend and I, we watched up to the ladder match or through the ladder match. And then I was like, man, we've been watching this for over an hour and we've only gotten 2 matches in. But I just wish, kind of condense it down a little bit.
Well, you picked the wrong night because night 2 was better than night 1 of WrestleMania. I truly believe that. Night 2 seemed to have bigger stakes. It seemed to be better in terms of the timing of matches. Night 1, especially you didn't watch the main event. The main event of night 1 went 44 minutes, and it was long, even for me. And I'm a wrestling nerd, but it went very long. And so, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you sampled some, and I'm glad that you have come up with the determination of what you like and what you don't like about wrestling. Again, kudos to you, man.
Am I wrong? WrestleMania used to be 2 to 3 hours, right? Now it's like 4 hours each night for 2 nights.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It makes money, man. It makes money. And they're going to keep doing it.
Not going to knock the game. I'm just saying, I feel like you could get in and out a little bit quicker. But again, if you smell, then Matlock is cooking. What is up, Daniel? How you doing, buddy?
Thank you, Daniel, for the rock comment. Appreciate it. Very, very, very well done. It's good, sir. Daniel, let me put you on the spot. I know you like wrestling as well. Daniel, what did you think of WrestleMania? Put it in the comments, man. Let us know what you thought about WrestleMania, the showcase of the immortals, as they call it. With that, Jason, is there anything else we need to cover real quick before we jump into this episode of Matlock?
No, man. Let's get into this 2-parter.
All right, then. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to jump on into our opening statements. All right, the episode is called Nowhere to Turn, and its original air date was September 25th, 1990. And Jason, you mentioned something about it being a 2-parter. I was very confused because on the DVD, it's listed as just 1 episode. You pop it in, and the menu lists it as 1 episode. Mm-hmm. Some databases has it as 1 episode, but then like IMDb has it as 2 episodes. So I was very confused. Eventually, though, I figured it out that it was like a movie event. So were you confused by this, or were you just rolling right with the punches?
I watched it on Prime, and it hasn't broken into 2 episodes. But I think most of the 2-parters on like disc and stuff have been only 1 episode.
You know what? That's a good question. I don't know, because no, because there's been, it says on the DVD part 1, part 2 on most of these, like, when we talk about them. So I don't know. This was an oddity that I wasn't a little confused by. Mm-hmm. So,
well, we got 2 guest stars off the bat. Clarence Gilliard and Nancy Stafford were both in this episode.
Stop it! But you're right. We have the full team: Michelle, Conrad, and Ben on this episode. All right, let's get Daniel's opinion real quick. Justin's letting us know. I thought it was very well done. Probably one of the best in several years. Love seeing The Undertaker show up to take out The Rock. I agree with Daniel. I felt like Night 2 was really, really good, and I enjoyed it. A lot of great action, and I agree with you. I think it was one of the better WrestleManias in recent years. So, all right, let's talk about our guest stars, Jason. Our first one is a gentleman by the name of Joe Regalbato, I believe is how it's pronounced. He will be playing the role of Arthur Prescott, and I hope I didn't mispronounce his name, but I probably did. Joe is known for his big role as Frank Fontana on the CBS drama / comedy Murphy Brown. Jason, now that I've mentioned that, did that ring a bell when you saw this character and go, oh yeah?
I've never seen Murphy Brown, John.
Really?
Nor did I know that Murphy Brown had a reboot in 2018.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, he's even on that reboot, actually.
I saw that.
He was also playing the role of Don Eagle Rice on the original Magnum P.I., Harry Fisher on Knots Landing, Norman Tuttle on Street Hawk, and he was in the movie Raw Deal as Marvin Baxter, which, of course, is one of those Schwarzenegger films that, to be honest with you, I've kind of forgotten about. I've never seen Raw Deal, but it's kind of one of those ones that slipped my mind.
Yeah, I want to see Raw Deal. I just watched Commando for the first time. I feel like Raw Deal would be a great pairing with that. I mean, it's a great, it's a Schwarzenegger movie from the 80s, so it's awesome.
You know what? I think you're absolutely right. I think Raw Deal was the follow-up to Commando. I think Commando came first. I'm pretty sure that Commando came first and then Raw Deal.
Yeah, Die Hard was actually supposed to be a Commando sequel.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, all right. Schwarzenegger was doing Terminator instead. Terminator 2, maybe? Something. Schwarzenegger was working on something, so they repurposed it. Maybe it was Predator.
Well, funny you mentioned that about Schwarzenegger and Terminator. We'll come back to that in a minute. I would like to just give quick props to Joe's role as Norman Tuttle on Street Hawk. Street Hawk, one of those great 80s TV shows that were like, oh my God, we have a computerized car, Knight Rider. We need something. And so Street Hawk was the essentially Knight Rider on a motorcycle. So props to Joe for being involved in that project. But as you talked about it, let's tie in the Terminator link between this episode of Matlock and the Terminator. Let's talk about a guest star by the name of Earl Bowen, who will play the role of Judge George Clayton. You may know Earl from his multiple times appearing in the Terminator franchise as Dr. Silberman. He is also a man that has done a ton of voiceover for video games. I mean, there's a long list of them. LeChuck in the Tales of the Monkey Island video game seems to be one of the ones that is most prevalent. He also played the role of Mr. Bleakman in the animated series Clifford the Big Red Dog. He was Judge Swanson on LA Law and Dr. Eisendrath in Naked Gun 33 1/3. And then Earl Bowen has like over 200 more credits to his name. This dude's resume is impressive in capital letters.
Naked Gun 33, the Naked Gun franchise is one of my favorite franchises. We won't get into what happened revolving that this weekend. I will just say the internet did not let me down. And Pride of the X-Men. He was the voice of Magneto on Pride of the X-Men, which was fantastic.
Oh, my friend, I must congratulate you and give you a tip of the hat. How you just tiptoed around that was fantastic, sir. Oh, man. Well done, Jason. Well done.
Well, I meant to drop that joke during Three Geeks last night, but I didn't get the right opportunity.
Oh, that's all right, man. I enjoyed it. I'm glad you did it here and not last night.
You know, sometimes the internet's a bad thing, but sometimes the internet's awesome. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, let's move on to our next guest star, Charles Seibert. He will be playing the role of Dr. Lehman. You may also know him as Mr. Stanley Riverside II on Trapper John MD. Jerry Davenport on One Day at a Time. Buzz McGregor on Mary Hartman. And guess what? We have ourselves a hat trick. Yes, we do. Jason. There we go. We got ourselves a crowd that loves a hat trick as much as we do. Mr. Seibert was on Murder, She Wrote, a Perry Mason movie, and Matlock. That's a hat trick for our good friend Charles Seibert. How about that?
That is awesome, man. Good for you, buddy. Good for you.
All right, we have a couple more guest stars, as this episode is a double episode. So Roger Aaron Brown will play the role of Daryl Wilson. You may know him from his role as Whitaker in RoboCop 2, Officer Lack in Action Jackson, Policeman 2 in Cobra, Deputy Chief Joe Noland on The District. He had a voiceover credit in a movie called Maniac Cop 2. I don't know if anybody's ever seen Maniac Cop, but it's bizarre. It is a bonkers B movie that you want to get a good chuckle out of something that's so bad it's good. You need to check out Maniac Cop and Maniac Cop 2.
I almost watched Maniac Cop the other day. I watched Mannequin, and I was looking for another 80s movie to watch, and I almost watched Maniac Cop because it's got Bruce Campbell in it.
Yes, it is. It is a bonkers, crazy film. Also, Roger played the role of Danny Grant on Days of Our Lives, and he has about 90 or 80 plus credits after that.
Yeah, and he was also in All Rise, which is a newer Judge show, and I kind of like that show.
Okay. And our last guest star is J. Kenneth Campbell. He will be playing the role of Scott Walker. Now, we've already met Mr. Campbell. Mr. Campbell played the role of Jack Berlin in an episode of Matlock called The Body, which was season 2, episode 12. And this was the one, if you remember, Jason, that Michelle and Ben, they go for like a week or a weekend at the health spa to investigate the murder over there. And he, if I remember correctly, had the wrong glasses on or something. And that's how he was caught. And in future episodes, we're going to see a lot of J. Kenneth Campbell as he plays FBI agent Ed Wingate, which, let me just tell you something. If you're not familiar with that character is something else. And I'll just leave my comments there. I'm just going to put that out in the ether. That character is, that's all I'm going to say.
I can't believe you didn't bring up James Cromwell, Justin, or John.
Who did I not bring up?
James Cromwell.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Go ahead. Most underrated actors in television. And, John, you just proved my point that he's so underrated that you didn't even bring him up.
That's true.
He was in, my opinion, the best season of American Horror Story, which was season 2. But this guy, anytime, even in this, he comes to play. Like, even as Mr. Skolnick in the Revenge of the Nerds movies, like, I love James Cromwell. One of my absolute favorite actors.
What role does he play in this episode, real quick? Can you tell me that?
Judge Raymond Price.
Oh, okay.
Victim?
Yes.
The victim, John.
I'm sorry.
Guys, I'm stalling because I'm trying to see if he was in all 3 shows or not. Since, John slept on his homework, guys. He was in Picket Fences as well. Home Improvement, Easy Street. He was in a lot of stuff. Like I said, more notably, recently would be American Horror Story. He was on Law and Order, Organized Crime, and Star Trek.
I'm glad you almost called it Disorganized Crime.
I did. Yeah, I think that was the name of another movie, not with him, and he was even in an episode of Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Ed Wingate is going to be an interesting character, as I said, but J. Kenneth Campbell has also appeared as FBI Agent Peterson in Blue Streak, Ed Kuntz in Collateral Damage, Anthony in Bullworth, Ross in Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, and the Doctor in Mars Attacks, all right, we have some comments from Dan, so let's get them up here. Let's hear what Daniel has to say. R.I.P. Nordberg, a.k.a. Philip Bauer on day 6 of 20. Yes! Mr. Cromwell was in 24. I forgot about that as well. How did I overlook him?
I don't know. As soon as I saw his name in the credits, I was like, all right.
I don't know. I must have been asleep when I was doing that. I don't know. Must not have had enough cup of coffee.
I started to panic. I'm like, did John and I even watch the same episode? Like, how was James Cromwell not the first name brought? Anyway.
Well, forgive me, Jason, and others. I apologize. I made a mistake. It happens sometimes.
I will make him write that 70 times on his Facebook wall tonight. I will never forget James Cromwell. I will never forget James Cromwell.
And when I do, I will bounce my stylus. It will do a somersault, land in my back pocket, and then I will skateboard from my home down to the corner bar where my drunken dad will be hanging out. And all the other things that happened in the Simpsons intro. But anyways, Jason, I need to know, can I trust your opinion? Your opinion is solely your opinion, so help you?
You can. I do. Let's go, man. Let's go. I'm excited to talk about this episode.
It's time to testify! The plot of this episode is that Matlock must defend himself against a murder charge in L.A. We have an opening scene of some beaches, and then the L.A. skyline, then L.A. traffic, Beverly Hills, and of course, then the Hollywood sign. So we see a guy that's jogging along the aqueducts in L.A., and it happens to be Scott Walker. A U-Haul arrives, and Scott ends up talking to the driver, and it is blatantly clear that Scott is buying machine guns from this individual. And he shoots the driver, killing him. Now, here's my question. Jason, let's just say that you happen to see an individual that... nice on the scroll. Thank you very much, Justin. Let's say that you see an individual that you're going to buy firearms from. If those firearms happen not to be automatically locked and loaded, would you stand around while they were like, hey, let me show you something, and then load a magazine into the gun? And don't you figure it out, put two and two together, that you're probably going to get shot?
Maybe he was on something. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he was surfing the internet, forgot James Cromwell, and was just in a daze.
Yes, maybe. Maybe that didn't happen in September of 1990. I mean, I just thought it was ridiculous. But, and then, nonetheless, Scott Walker leaves with the U-Haul and the guns. So then we cut to a scene in the courtroom, the usual courtroom that Matlock is found in. He is interviewing Ms. Anderson, who's testifying in a case. And clearly she's coached, right? And the whole thing was, she was like, the guy that robbed that store, robbed that bank, he had thick lips. All right, he did not have thin lips. He had thick lips. Not like the individual I saw who had thin lips. He had thick lips. Like, this went on and on and on. Yes, like Jason just pointed to his thin lips. Yeah. This was some ridiculous banter, if there ever has been, on an episode of Matlock.
Man, I can't believe he put her up there.
I know. Like, well, he says, he goes, I've never talked to her, and I'm not too fond of putting up, somebody I haven't talked to on the witness stand. I just found it ridiculous. And then I enjoyed Ben's quick whispering to the client, "You're dead. You're dead.
Yeah.
I hate you for this." Like, I thought that was pretty comical, but it's clearly evident that Miss Anderson has been cooked.
You ruined my record, and I mean, Ben, you're just as responsible. You put her up there. That's what I was thinking in my mind. I'm like, you're just as culpable. Like this.
Yes. Agreed. Agreed. So then we go to a scene where Ben is at his home, and he's very upset at Ms. Hawkins because Ms. Hawkins messed around with his stuff on his desk.
She cleaned his desk.
She did. She cleaned his desk, and he's very upset with that. And so then we start talking about how Miss Hawkins used to not only clean for the previous guy that lived there or whatnot, but she also helped him pick out his clothes and everything, which leads us to a hilarious discussion about what Ben wants to be buried in when he dies. I thoroughly enjoyed how he mentions, I only have one suit. It's this style of suit. This is all I have. And I wrote down, I don't want to see Mr. Jesus naked, which I thought was hilarious. And a valid fear. I think that would be a little bit awkward, showing up in front of Jesus, buck naked.
Yeah, Ben is just off his game through this entire episode, and I love it.
You know what? That is a good thing to point out, because, yes, this is not going to be the usual Ben Matlock being a smooth operator like we have seen in the past. Michelle shows up, and she has airline tickets for Los Angeles because Ben was involved in some case out there involving a journalist. And then we get into something that I feel was not really entertaining, but we'll hold off on my comments until the end of the show. Ms. Hawkins has the bug for astrology. That's right. She reads the horoscope and she follows the predictions, and she is very concerned about Ben traveling to LA and this case. And I guess in some weird way, I guess Ms. Hawkins was right.
And she was 1,000% right. There's no weird way about it. She was right.
And what I mean is, we cut to the airport and we find out that Ben's flight has been canceled. He has to wait 3 hours till the next one unless he wants to fork over a bunch of money. He can't find his seat when he's on the airline. He ends up getting smashed between two people. He tries to leave so he could go to the bathroom, and he has to crawl over this person. And the whole time that this is going on, all I could think of is, where's Michelle? Because I thought she was going with him because she had tickets, plural.
Because didn't she hear the banter? She said that because Ben's like, I have another case. She's like, I'll stay and get a continuance. So I think she planned on staying, getting the continuance, and then flying out.
Good point, man. Good catch.
James Cromwell misses the part of the plot. I'm worried about you, John. I'm worried about you. You're not 50 yet. You shouldn't be having these memory lapses.
Well, I'll just start taking Prevagen so I can continue to have the very good mind that I have. And by the way, Prevagen, if you would like to be a proud sponsor of Matt Talk, hit us up. And where can they hit us up at, Jason?
BenMattalk@gmail.com. Metamucil, we're looking at you too.
That's right. Metamucil, Prevagen, Osteobiflex. We're not proud. Be a great sponsor. All right. Yeah. We got the numbers to prove that we can boost you a little bit. But nonetheless, you should also check us out on Facebook at Matt Talk Podcast. Anyways.
I have back problems. Any chiropractors that want to sponsor us as well, I would love you forever. Anyway, John, continue. That's neither here nor there.
No problem. Miss Hawkins and Ben banter again, this time when he is at the airport in LA. And all Ben wants is his clothes. And then he finds out he's going to need a hotel room because they canceled his hotel reservation either. And we get one dose of Angry Ben.
Oh, yeah. We get Angry Ben through a lot of this episode.
Uh-huh. We cut to a scene where Ben is shaving and getting ready in the men's room, which that seemed to be like a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not exquisite, but elaborate, like, bathroom. It wasn't just a bathroom because there were like showers and lockers and stuff in there. So, I mean, I didn't feel that bad for Ben. You at least have a decent place to shower and change up.
Mm-hmm. And he was asking for the papers to cover his. People just use toilet paper. Was there actually paper specifically for covering up cuts on your face?
No, what he was looking for was there was this pencil thing that they used to make back in the days. The tip had like a medicine that would immediately clot blood, so you would just touch it, and that's what he was talking about. Yeah, but instead he did like many of us probably have done, just do the dab of. So look, when I've done that, I only let it sit there for like 5 minutes, and then I just pop it off. You know what I mean?
I think you forgot about it. It was part of the whole disheveled look they were going for.
Speaking of being disheveled, we cut to the courtroom, and Ben is late to court. And this judge, played by James Cromwell, does not play any games. In fact, he makes some comment about, I don't know how you do it in Atlanta, but you're here in California. This is how we roll. And we have another instance of Angry Ben. So Ben is unfortunately found in contempt of court and placed in custody. And we see a scene where Ben is in the slammer, and he asked the guy next to him if he's a Capricorn. He said, of course he is. And so he slides a little bit over on the bench. My question is this, as I'm going to reveal a little bit here. Ben spends a lot of time in jail. Do you think he did the old adage of when you go to jail, you find the toughest guy and you try to beat him up to get street cred?
No,
I don't think Ben went that way either. But I noticed that
Ben had a nervous breakdown.
Almost. But nonetheless, one of the attorneys that was handling his case shows up, bails him out. The case is postponed again, and Ben makes a comment about he wants to talk to the judge. So we cut to a scene of the judge and some of his cronies golfing, and Ben interrupts. He interrupts this golf game. I would like to know how far Ben had to walk, because that looked like they were far away from the clubhouse. And more importantly, couldn't he get a cart?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I know it would have cost you some cash, but it beats walking all over the place in LA where it's warm in a suit.
Well, he likes to show off, man, that suit.
Yeah, he does. You're right. There's not been too many episodes where we've seen casual Ben Matlock, has there? So we have a nose-to-nose confrontation, all right, between the judge and Ben. Like, I was thinking they're going to throw fists, man. They're going to throw hands. And they agree that they will meet in the judge's chamber at 7 p.m. All right, we got a comment apparently from Justin. So, Justin, go ahead and throw that up, please. As punishment for forgetting James Cromwell and being off his game, I sentenced John to watching the Kennel from Hell match. Oh, no, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to. You know what would only be worse, Daniel, is if I had to watch the pigsty match with Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus Henry O. Godwin from, I forget what pay-per-view that was, but that would only be the thing. That would only be the worst punishment.
Coming soon, guys. Wrestling Talk with John and Dan.
Well, we come to a scene where the judge is in his chambers. And as he is doing his work there, he notices that he's not alone because Scott Walker's already there. And Scott Walker kills the judge. And I got to give props for this. An 80s staple. I'm going to put the silencer on the gun. So no one hears. That seemed to... Dude, did that... Seriously, Jason, did that not happen in almost every like cop show in the 80s, in the 90s? Every time. It like seemed... I didn't think that silencers were that prevalent, apparently, in the 1980s and 90s, but apparently you could buy them anywhere.
anywhere at all.
Yeah, I mean, geez. So Ben arrives, and he finds the judge dead. And what Ben doesn't know is from the shadows, Scott Walker comes and KOs him. We then cut to a scene, and I was very confused by this scene. You tell me what you thought. But Ben, he's outside. He stumbles around. And then he goes into a tavern. He starts ordering a drink, which I was surprised the drink was $2.50. I thought that was pretty cheap. But he seemed to be drunk, and he admitted to, hey, did you know the judge got killed, blah, 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 blah. And I wrote down, why is Ben this messed up? I know he's concussed, but this seems to be way over the top.
Yeah, well, we find out later that he was drugged.
Right, but at that time, did you not think the same thing as me? Is like, this seems like overkill.
No, I kind of had the suspicion that something was going on.
Okay.
But I like how he said, just give me that.
Yeah, what do you want to drink? That looks good. He's thrown out of the bar, by the way, because he has no money. And then he is pickpocketed by a bum who we later learn his name is Sloan. And the cops arrive and find Ben wallowing in the trash. And again, I wrote down, where is Michelle?
It's only been a day, John. Calm down. Calm down.
I want Michelle to come to the rescue of Ben.
He hasn't even been there a day yet.
You're right on that. Okay, you're right on that. So Ben is at police headquarters, and Ben can't recall anything from the night before. And the lieutenant, and I forget what his name is, the lieutenant gives the facts to Ben. Hey, look, man, you were seen drunk. You were stumbling around. You went into this bar. You made some statements about killing a judge. The judge is dead, et cetera, et cetera. And Ben's like, I didn't do it. I remember one thing. I remember looking in the mirror and seeing somebody's face, and it must have been that guy that did it. But the police lieutenant says, but your fingerprints, they're all over the murder weapon, dude. And so Ben is booked and goes to jail for the second time until Michelle finally arrives. Jason, so far, what do you think about what we've talked about these last few segments?
Oh, I'm in. I'm in. That's all I'm going to say. I'm like, are we going to get Conrad? But we're going to.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Michelle represents Ben in court, and Ben, of course, gets very uppity and gets very upset. Angry Ben, I think number 3, and he tells off the prosecutor. So the judge orders $250,000 for bail. And here's my question. Like, Ben's mad about that. Well, that's $250,000. But, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, Jason. But I thought when you gave bail, you only had to provide 10% of the bail to get out. Am I wrong on that?
I don't know. You get it back as long as you don't skip bail. So
right, but I thought you only had to present 10%. So that I'm like, that's $25,000. That's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not, but it's not $250,000. You know what I mean?
No, he's got it. He charges $100,000 a case.
Exactly. That's like two extra cases you have to take on. Jeez.
And again, you get it back as long as you're not stupid.
Right. Exactly. And Ben's not going to be stupid. He's not going to go on the lam. So the bum, a.k.a. Sloan, arrives at the jail, and Ben wants his watch back because that's what Sloan stole from him. And so Sloan ends up telling Ben about that he saw Scott Walker place a limp Ben Matlock, an intoxicated, a drugged up Ben Matlock in the alleyway. And so Conrad is here as we go to a scene that's in the hotel room where everybody is staying. And I like that Ben threw away the free tickets from the airline because they did get his bag, but they gave him those tickets. He threw them in the trash. And I love because in a few minutes, we're going to find out Ben really didn't throw those away. Now, did he? No, because that's a free flight, yo. He's gonna take those. It doesn't matter. Oh yeah, absolutely. So Sloan, he wants some food. He is now becoming like the key witness. No wine. No wine.
None.
None.
We did forget to mention that we found out that Matlock is past the bar in 5 states.
Oh yes, we did hear about that. I thought, you know what, and I think that is something that we've talked about before, that I know for a fact that different bars have reciprocity, so that if you're in good standing in the bar in like West Virginia, for example, they'll say, oh, okay, Kentucky will say, you can come and practice here. All right, Ms. Hawkins calls with more astrology junk, which Ben hangs up on her. And then we find out that Ben may have been injected with something, which to me, like, I got to say this went through my mind. What if it wasn't this experimental drug that the Army was using? What if it was something worse? Like, what if it was heroin? Like, that would be something harsh to do to somebody. Like, that's like elite scumbag move right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Justin says we have another comment or two. So, Justin, go ahead and throw them up, man. Forgot about the pig match. Ha, ha, ha. Odd bit of trivia. The house of the suspect that Michelle goes to visit is the same house used on Diagnosis Murder for Mr. Mark Sloan. Got to get ready for work. Take care, guys. Thank you, Daniel. We appreciate you tuning in, man, and hope that work goes well for you. And thanks for a little bit of trivia. I got to be honest. I'm ignorant when it comes to Diagnosis Murder. I didn't watch it. Jason, any comments from what Daniel had to say?
Never seen Diagnosis Murder. I do know that Mark Sloan is also a character on Grey's Anatomy. Not to say it's not the same character, but
okay, they just share the same name. All right, we cut to Michelle interviewing Arthur in his office. Speaking of scumbags, good golly, Miss Molly. I don't know what to say about Arthur. He is, first of all, I will say what I got. He has got weak game. I'm sorry. You like fly fishing? What? Seriously? Come on, man. Bring something better than that.
I mean, every woman I've ever met just loves going out fly fishing.
Yeah. On top of this, let's just talk about it. Like, look, this is probably cutting a little bit close to the heart here for Joe, the actor that plays Arthur. But dude, that receding hairline, that's not getting any women. I'm sorry. Just that it's just not.
Now, guys, listen. I know that the side hair is something that you guys all want to hang on to. Just trust me, just shave it.
Yeah. Yes. I gotcha. I think Michelle Thomas would go for, I don't know who Michelle Taylor is, but
my
Michelle
mom.
Thomas.
Actually,
your mom?
Yeah.
Michelle Thomas would certainly go for a confident bald man than a scumbag dude with a receding hairline. So, but he is nonstop on just hitting on her left and right. And we are we find out that Arthur and his group of individuals, well, they were Green Berets and Nam. I thought that was pretty interesting. So Sloan and Ben check out the warehouse where Ben was found. And I am going to propose that there was a little shade being thrown on this scene, because as they're walking down the alleyway, there's an African-American fellow who is sitting in a box drinking some booze. And what is said to him? See ya, Kenny.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Shame on you writers for doing that. Shame on you. If you did that on purpose, shame on you. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. Well,
wow. That can't be. That has to just been a coincidence.
It's got to be, because if it wasn't, dirtbag thing to do, man. Terrible.
But how do you not catch that? Like, maybe we shouldn't do that because we actually had a guy that worked for us named Kenny who had alcohol problems who left the show.
Yeah. Kind of should have probably proofread that and been like, hey, Kenny, have a different name. How about Keith? How about that?
It was a different time.
I guess. Well, Sloan and Matlock find out that they're not the only ones at the warehouse because Scott is in there. And as Ben pries away the door and he goes in, he's almost hit by a car that was driven by Sloan. So we cut to another scene where Conrad is interviewing Dr. Lehman. And I did enjoy how Conrad, in his very snarky, smart aleck way, was like, can I lay on the couch? And, and he basically reveals a lot of information just to rattle the good doctor, who throws him out of the office. Then we cut to another scene where Ben and Sloan interview a Chinese restaurant worker who IDs Scott Walker as Dave. And, hey, Dave lives across the way in an apartment like 301 or whatever. And so Ben and Sloan go over to try to catch him. But Scott Walker escapes. He goes through the fire escape and beats both Sloan and Matlock to the punch. And then Michelle interviews Daryl Wilson at the firing range. I thought this was a very odd scene until later it's explained that Wilson is an FBI agent, because I'm like, is he part of a militia or something? Like, I don't get what he's doing at this range, because there was a lot of guys there, but makes sense if he's an FBI agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the judge, here's a little interesting fact. He was paying for Wilson's sick son. His son was sick. He was paying the medical bills because they were super expensive, which may give a little bit of motive to offing or killing the judge. So we go back to the courtroom, and the bartender's on the stand, and the bartender claims that Ben was not drunk when he came into the bar. And that's exactly, he was not acting at all like he was drunk, which was somewhat bizarre. We get a little more astrology crap from Ms. Hawkins. We then go to the courtroom again, where Sloan is on the stand, and Sloan gives a total different story to what happened. And this makes Ben angry. Because I never saw him come out of I never saw him come out of that car. I never saw him in that alleyway. I saw him in the tavern, yada, yada, yada. So Conrad follows Sloan to a small airport when he is joined by Ben and Michelle. Sloan wants his money, and Scott does the same thing, which apparently nobody understands. That when someone pulls a gun out, you don't stand there twiddling your thumbs.
Sure you do. You just stand there and be like, shoot me.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Punk.
Well, nonetheless, Sloan shoots and kills Sloan, and then opens fire on Conrad and Ben. Even though Conrad does get the drop on Scott Walker, Scott ends up escaping the airport, and basically that kind of ends that segment there. Oh, I forgot that the wing does clip Conrad, but he's okay. And so our very next scene, Michelle is briefing Ben Matlock on Scott Walker from what she has found out from people at the airport. And Michelle wants phone records. She thinks that would be helpful. And so she goes to the office of Arthur Prescott, and she dupes this girl into giving them up, or this woman, I should say. We cut to Conrad stopping by Lucinda's bar, and the bartender won't serve Conrad. Because Conrad is not a local there, and so he talks to the owner. He's an outsider, very much so. And Conrad talks to the owner about wanting to be a bartender, and he says, well, all you got to do is make 3 drinks: a Rob Roy, a zombie, and a suffering bastard, which I like that name, and I can't believe they used it, but can't wait to go to the bar next time and go, give me a suffering bastard.
Well, Ben was definitely the suffering bastard in this episode.
Oh, absolutely. So basically, Conrad does that. He makes all 3 of those drinks, and so Carl hires him. Meanwhile, Ben goes back to the warehouse, and in several shots, they show that there's all these boxes in the background. Why doesn't Ben check out what those boxes are? Maybe there's a clue in there.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah. Ben does start to remember some things from that day, and he does find a vial over in the corner of the room. So we go back to the scene, to the office of Arthur, and the lady checked in on Michelle's story, and basically she goes, look, Arthur's a pig. I will help you out if you want it. Tell you what, tomorrow, meet me at this particular location. I'll take you to his home. All right? Which right away, that seemed a little bit sketchy. Like, I would ask, how do you have keys to get into his house? Or are we breaking and entering?
Breaking and entering, man. It's fun.
I'll take your word on it, sir. No. Jason's never broken into anybody's home. Right, Jason?
Well, there was a house that was being built across the street from a friend's house back in high school, and we may have went in and looked around before it was officially like all the way built yet.
Oh my goodness. Has it been 7 years?
Oh, dude, it's high school, man. That's freaking 70 years ago.
Okay, all right. I was going to say, so statute of limitations has run out. Jason's actions do not reflect the show. So the FBI has a raid on Lucinda's bar, and this is where we find out that Daryl Wilson's one of the FBI agents. And Conrad flicked the lights on and off so that some bad dude and a partner of Carl's could escape out the back. By the way, I did notice this in the show. A little bit later on, they show Ben following some of the bad guys, following Layman, as a matter of fact. He has the exact same car as he has in Atlanta. What's the chances of that? What's the chances of you go to, say, for an example, Hertz and go, excuse me, can I get a dark gray Kia Forte, please? What's the chances of that?
I don't know.
I don't either. Well, basically, Wilson wants Carl to talk, and the lawyer's indisposed and not available. So we go back to another scene where Ben interviews Layman about the drug injected into him. And Layman kind of spills the details about what that, I don't remember what the name of the drug was, but it supposedly make you act like you're drunk. Mm-hmm. I felt like at this point that Layman maybe was like thinking he was in too deep, kind of the way this unfolded. What say you?
No, I agree.
Yeah, because he just talked a lot, and then all of a sudden he left. Like, I thought maybe there was something going on with that. And then we find out the 2 goons walk past Ben in the parking lot and force Layman into their car. And so Michelle, we cut to a scene where Michelle goes to Arthur's home. What do you know? That lady lied. Arthur's right there at his home. So is Scott Walker, by the way, who is tasked with going to check out Michelle's hotel room to make sure she has nothing on them. Meanwhile, the goons, they take Layman to a haberdashery, and basically Ben follows him in. I got to use the bathroom. You can't. Well, please, I got to. I might have a diabetic shock, et cetera, et cetera. And so Ben snoops in the back and overhears a conversation between Layman and some goons. And of course, Ben is knocked out again.
And drugged. Put on the freeway.
That's right. We're going to get to that. Arthur and Michelle have lunch and they talk. And Michelle swipes the answering machine tape from his answering machine. By the way, Scott has come back and tells Arthur everything's clean. And as you said, Ben gets drugged again and then dumped on the side of a highway.
And plays real life Frogger.
That's right. He does. I'm sure that this cost a pretty penny. And they were like, we need this. We need this. Here's an idea, though. Who stopped and helped Ben? But the California Highway Patrol. This would have made a great crossover with Chips.
It would have, but Chips wasn't on at this time, was it?
No, Chips was gone by then. But I if I was casting, I would have said Larry Wilcox, Eric Estrada, dust off those jumpsuits. Come on, get on the bikes. Let's go. Michelle shows up to the hotel, and neither Conrad or Ben answer the door. All right, and so we cut to a scene where Carl makes Conrad an offer to come with him to this big event that he's going to. And lo and behold, we'll wrap this up here with this little segment with Michelle rescuing Ben from police headquarters. So, Jason, what do you think so far?
I'm still in the episode.
Okay. All right. You're still down with it.
Yep.
All right. We go back to that lieutenant at the police department. He's a little bit skeptical of Ben's theory about how all this is going to unfold, how there's a cache for drugs and drugs for weapons type of triangle going on among all these people, the judge, Arthur, Carl, all these guys. And so the lieutenant's skeptical, but eventually he caves in. So then we go to the warehouse where Lehman and Arthur show up, as does Carl and his crew, including Conrad and Scott Walker. Scott Walker's got a lot of coke on him. And a lot of coke. That trunk was filled with cocaine, ladies and gentlemen. I think they said something like 8 or 9 pounds of cocaine, which is a lot.
All of the coke.
Yes. But what I love the most is this. Conrad's cover is blown, thanks to Lehman, and then a gunfight breaks out. And let me tell you something. It's not a gunfight in 1990 unless you have Uzis. And Uzis were aplenty. But we have a problem, Jason. Scott Walker's killed. And that ends this whole theory, possibly, of what Ben has about who was doing what and when and whatnot. So Michelle, Ben, Conrad are having breakfast. And we get one more astrology call from Ms. Hawkins, who gets hung up on. And then Conrad fields a question where it says, hey, Scott Walker was shot with a .45 caliber gun. No one has that gun here at the site. Like, we have Uzis, we have 9mm, et cetera, et cetera. So Michelle shows up at Arthur's house and has a subpoena for his service revolver, service pistol, not a revolver. That would be a .45 caliber pistol, which he goes over and gets it and hands it to the cop. First of all, timeout. Why is everybody getting a chance to handle guns? Like, shouldn't the cop go, excuse me, where is it? I'll go get it. Because what's stopping Arthur from turning around and just racking that bitch and just shooting both of them? You know what I mean? Like, I was really shocked at the lack of common sense in I don't know, gun safety, I guess we'll call it, in this episode, Jason. You're not. You're like, John, you're out of control, man. Just calm down.
It's the 80s, John. It's the 80s.
It's the 80s. Just relax, John.
That's fine.
Just relax.
I mean, it's the times.
Yeah. Anyways, Ben gives Michelle a new brooch. This is to buy her off because he wants to take over his own defense. And it's not you, it's me. I like how he made it like, oh, it's not you, it's me. You know, it's just.
Yeah, I saw this coming the second we found out Ben was going on trial.
Yeah, yeah. So we go back to the courtroom. Arthur's on the stand. And Ben pitches this idea of military ties to buy weapons and then swap it out for drugs, of which I do enjoy that Arthur pleads the fifth. But the idea that these 4 knuckleheads are like funding secret op government overthrowing missions all around the globe is preposterous. I'm sorry. And the judge was like the true patriot, is like, no, we can't be doing this. And that's why he got shot and killed. It's just ridiculous, dude. I'm sorry. I can't hold it in any longer. It's dumb. But we find out Lehman's .45 isn't his Nam gun. It isn't the gun he had in Vietnam. It was stolen years ago, and he replaced the .45 with a similar gun. So basically what happened was Arthur, after the shootout, switched the guns, but what he didn't know was Lehman's gun was a totally different gun. So therefore he had possession, according to ballistics report, of the gun. And so the jury finds Ben not guilty. And we end with one final. Is it good day to travel? Should we call Ms. Hawkins? That kind of a little bit of comedy thrown in at the end. And that concludes the episode. Nowhere to turn. All right, Jason, you have anything further you want to talk about real quick?
No, I mean, I just want to get into my thoughts. That's a freaking long episode.
It is. Well, then with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into our closing statements.
This is the podcast where John and I will rate the show on a gavel system. 1 gavel means that we absolutely didn't like it. 5 gavels means we loved it. And negative 20 gavels means we are retiring, moving to California, and becoming hobos. So, John, what do you rate this show on a gavel system?
I can't wait to become a hobo in California. It seems awesome, dude. Then we can meet an elderly
property, my friend.
That's right. We can meet an elderly lawyer. He'll take us under his wing. It'll be great. Love this. I gave this 2.5. I'm sorry. 2.5.
Wow.
Jason. This episode, it seemed to be just a mishmash of hey, we haven't had an episode like the A-Team, so let's have some freedom fighters in there. Hey, we haven't had a real gritty cop drama yet. It seemed like they just pieced everything together, and there was a lot of we didn't need the horoscope and thought or astrology storyline that needed to go. It was convoluted. It was very convoluted.
It was fine. Listen. So this is the first half of this. After the first half ended, 2-parter, I was like, man, that's the best episode of Matlock I've ever seen. So let's see what the second half has for us. And I still thought it was pretty strong. I give it 4.5. It's probably my second or third favorite episode we've watched so far. It was absolutely fun. I like seeing Andy Griffith given stuff to actually act with, because he did a lot of acting in this episode. Different, comedy to seriousness. And I don't know, man. I loved it. I loved the whole entire episode from start to finish.
No, I'm sorry. I wasn't in it. I felt that there was some.
We know you weren't in it, John. You forgot about James Cromwell. You missed plot details in the beginning. So it's all right. It's all right, folks. John just needs to rewatch it when he's more awake and alert.
First of all, look, at least we didn't have another Badman incident here on this show, okay?
No.
So, okay. I just felt it was too long. It was convoluted. The plot was kind of all over the place. It did have some decent comedy. I will give you that too, that Andy Griffith had to really act, to be drugged and whatnot. So, but I don't know. For me, it didn't hit. It didn't hit with me. I felt there was too much. Felt this could have been one single episode and would have been a better episode, to be honest with you.
See, I can't believe we're opposites. I mean, it's happened from time to time, folks.
Yeah,
it happens.
It's been a long time since that's happened. We've been relatively close to one another in the last several episodes. It's just this one just didn't click.
I will say this, I'm getting to the point where I don't know how people think the first 2 seasons of Matlock are the best in the series, when by far 3 to some extent, but definitely 4 and so far 5 have been astronomically better than the first couple seasons.
Oh, I agree. 3 and 4 were real solid, but yeah. So, all right. Well, we are going long, so let's start wrapping things up here. Jason, tell us all about 3 Geeks Podcast.
Follow us at 3 Geeks Podcast. Follow me at 3 Geeks J. Subscribe, like, comment, and we're live Saturdays at 6 p.m. I'm not going to keep you much longer than that.
I like how you were so captivated by something else off screen, and then you were like, "Oh, 3 Geeks Podcast." All right, PVDcast. PVDcast.com is where you can find my personal podcasting project. We are actually, as we talked about it at the beginning of the episode, this episode is my recap of WrestleMania. Myself and the Pro Wrestling Pundits sit down and chat about the results of the matches, the future storylines, some of the surprises that we liked and whatnot. It's available at PVDcast.com or wherever you find great podcasts. All right, Jason, with that, let's get on out of here, shall we?
That sounds good, man. As they say in court.
Nothing further.